The school rooftop was silent. The rain washed away the blood at my feet. Below me, hundreds of students watched as police officers led away the girl everyone believed was innocent. My best friend, Lin Xia. She cried loudly. It's all her fault. She forced me. She made me do everything. Everyone believed her. I was blamed for leaking exam papers, stealing scholarship money, and even hacking the school system. The principal looked at me with disgust. You have brought shame to this school. Expelled. Arrested. My parents abandoned me. When I was finally released months later, I had already lost everything. No university. No future. No family. That night, I climbed to the rooftop one last time. As I closed my eyes, I whispered, if I had one more chance, I'd never trust you again. A sharp pain exploded in my head. Wake up. Stop sleeping in class. I opened my eyes. The classroom. The teacher. The familiar blue school uniform. The calendar on the wall. 2 years earlier. Sophomore year. I was reborn. The entire class laughed. Lin Xia leaned over with her sweetest smile. Can I borrow your smart clicker for today's quiz? Mine isn't working. In my previous life, I gave it to her without thinking. Later, someone used that device to hack the school's testing system. Every log pointed to me. This time, I smiled. Of course. I handed it over. But before giving it to her, I quietly activated the hidden tracking app that recorded every login, every location, and every action. She thanked me with an innocent smile. She had no idea. Every lie she was about to tell was already being recorded. As she walked away, I looked out the classroom window. This life. You're walking into your own trap. The next morning, the school buzzed with excitement. Today was the midterm practice exam. Every student's smart clicker would record their answers and automatically upload them to the school server. Exactly as I remembered. Lin Xia walked beside me with a sweet smile. Thanks again for lending me your clicker yesterday. I smiled back. You're welcome. She didn't know that every login, every location, and every action on that device had already been backed up to a hidden cloud account only I could access. During lunch, I noticed something strange. Lin Xia quietly slipped into the computer lab. A tall senior was waiting for her. He handed her a USB drive. This contains tomorrow's exam answers, he whispered. Upload them tonight using the clicker. She nodded confidently. No one will ever know. From the hallway, I secretly recorded the entire conversation with my phone. I didn't stop them. Not yet. That evening, the school's testing server was hacked. The leaked answers spread across the student chat group. Within minutes, the principal ordered an emergency investigation. Just as in my previous life, every clue seemed to point to my smart clicker. The next morning, security guards walked into my classroom. Come with us. The students gasped. Lin Xiao lowered her head, pretending to cry. I never thought she'd do something like this. The teacher looked disappointed. Do you have anything to say? I stood up calmly. Yes. I connected my phone to the classroom projector. The first screen appeared. Device tracking log. Yesterday, 7:42 p.m. Location, computer lab. User, Lin Xia. The room fell silent. Then another screen appeared. A video. Everyone watched as Lin Xia accepted the USB drive from the senior student. Her face turned pale. That's fake. I smiled. No. There are still 12 more recordings. The principal slowly turned toward Lin Xia. For the first time, fear appeared in her eyes. The classroom was silent. Every student stared at the projector. Lin Xiao's face turned pale as the tracking log and video played. I can explain. The principal's expression hardened. Then explain. She pointed at me with trembling hands. She edited the videos. She's framing me. Some students hesitated. Could the evidence really be fake? I had expected that question. I plugged in another flash drive. This isn't my evidence. It's the school's security footage. The principal nodded to the IT teacher. After checking the files, he announced. The timestamps match perfectly. The recordings haven't been altered. The room erupted in whispers. Lin Xiao's legs gave out, and she collapsed into her chair. Just then, the senior student from the computer lab burst into the classroom. He looked terrified. Don't blame me. She paid me. Everyone turned toward Lin Xia. You promised no one would find out. Her eyes widened. Be quiet. The principal slammed his hand on the desk. Enough. Both students were escorted to the office. I thought it was over. Until I noticed someone standing outside the classroom door. A man in a black suit. He smiled faintly before walking away. I'd seen that smile before. In my previous life. He was the chairman's assistant. The person who secretly manipulated the investigation and destroyed my future. My heart sank. Lin Xia had never been the real mastermind. She was only a pawn. That evening, I opened the hidden tracking app again. A new notification appeared. Unknown device connected. Access attempt detected. Permission level, administrator. Someone was trying to erase every piece of evidence from the school servers. I quickly copied all the files to 3 separate backups. Seconds later, the original files disappeared from the system. Someone inside the school had deleted them. I looked at the last access log. User ID, chairman_office_admin. I clenched my fists. So, I finally found you. The next morning, the entire school was in chaos. News of the leaked evidence spread faster than anyone expected. Students whispered in every hallway. Did you hear? Lin Xia has been suspended. They say someone inside the chairman's office deleted the evidence. I pretended not to hear. Because I already knew the truth. After classes, I quietly followed the man in the black suit. He entered the administration building using a private elevator. I waited. When the hallway became empty, I slipped inside. The chairman's office door wasn't fully closed. Voices came from inside. The assistant spoke first. The girl still has copies of the evidence. The chairman frowned. Then make sure those copies disappear. And if she refuses? He paused. Ruin her reputation. My hands tightened around my phone as I secretly recorded every word. Just as I stepped away from the door, a security guard spotted me. Hey, stop. I ran through the corridor. Footsteps echoed behind me. I turned a corner, nearly crashing into the school's top student. Han Jisung. He grabbed my arm. This way. Without asking questions, he pulled me into the library's hidden archive room. The guards rushed past without seeing us. We stayed silent until everything was quiet. Finally, he looked at me. I know you're innocent. I froze. How? He pulled out his laptop. I've been investigating the school's missing scholarship funds for months. They tried to frame me too. For the first time since being reborn, I realized I wasn't fighting alone. That night, Han Jisung showed me encrypted financial records. Millions had disappeared from the school's scholarship account over the last 3 years. Every transfer led to one name. Chairman Kong. Han looked at me seriously. If we expose him now, he'll destroy the evidence. I nodded. So we don't expose him. We let him think he's winning. A slow smile appeared on Han's face. You really have changed. I smiled back. No. I've simply lived through this nightmare before. Outside, a black car waited across the street. Inside sat the chairman's assistant. Watching us. He picked up his phone. They've started working together. The chairman's cold voice replied. Then get rid of both of them. 3 days later, the school announced its biggest event of the year. The National Scholarship Qualification Exam. The winner would receive a full scholarship and automatic admission to the country's most prestigious university. In my previous life, I ranked first. But before the results were announced, I was accused of cheating. The scholarship was given to Lin Xia. This time, history would be different. The chairman personally welcomed every student. His smile looked warm. But when our eyes met, his expression froze for a second. He knew I still had evidence. And I knew he was planning something. An Hisung whispered beside me. They've installed new cameras in every examination room. Good, I replied. That makes today's plan even easier. Halfway through the exam, the lights suddenly went out. Students screamed. Emergency lights flashed red across the classroom. Exactly as I remembered. In the darkness, someone slipped a small folded paper beside my desk. When the lights returned, a teacher immediately shouted. Stop writing. She walked straight toward me. What is this? She held up the cheat sheet. The entire classroom stared at me. Whispers filled the room. I knew she was cheating. She's finished. The chairman quietly smiled from the observation room. Everything was happening exactly as it had in my first life. Until I smiled. I calmly stood up. Please don't touch the paper. Everyone looked confused. The fingerprints are still fresh. The teacher froze. Han Jisung immediately spoke. I request the security footage from every camera in this room. The chairman interrupted. The cameras malfunctioned during the blackout. I expected that answer. I pulled out a small device from my pocket. My recording never stopped. It was a tiny body camera hidden inside my school badge. The projector displayed the footage. Everyone watched as a masked staff member walked between the desks during the blackout and deliberately placed the cheat sheet beside my exam paper. The room fell completely silent. The chairman's smile disappeared. The principal slowly stood. Who is that staff member? Before anyone could answer, the masked person suddenly ran from the building. Han chased after him. Outside, black SUVs sped away from the school gates. The suspect escaped. But in the rush, he dropped an identification card. The principal picked it up. The entire room gasped. It belonged to the chairman's executive office. For the first time, the chairman looked genuinely afraid. I stared directly at him. This isn't revenge. This is justice. The school auditorium was packed. Students, teachers, parents, reporters, and members of the Board of Education filled every seat. The chairman stood confidently on the stage. As you all know, he began, false accusations have been made against this school. Today, we will reveal the truth. He smiled as if he had already won. But this time, I had prepared for every move. Han Jisung handed me a small encrypted drive. The final backup. I nodded. If anything happens, this goes public. He smiled. They can't stop us anymore. The chairman invited me onto the stage. So, he said calmly, do you have any proof? I looked around the auditorium. I do. I plugged the drive into the main projector. One file appeared. Then another. Then hundreds more. Financial records. Security videos. Audio recordings. Deleted emails. Transfer histories. Every document had matching timestamps. Every deleted file had been recovered from multiple backups. The audience fell silent. Then the final recording began. It was the chairman himself. His voice echoed through the auditorium. Frame the scholarship winner. Destroy the evidence. If she refuses to stay quiet, make sure no university accepts her. The chairman's face instantly turned white. Turn it off. He rushed toward the projector. But the Board of Education chairman stood. Don't move. Security officers surrounded the stage. Just then, Lin Xia slowly walked into the auditorium. Everyone stared. She looked exhausted. Elite. Tears rolled down her face. I blamed her because they threatened my family. The chairman's office planned everything. They promised me the scholarship if I helped frame her. The auditorium exploded with shocked whispers. The chairman shouted, she's lying. Lin Xia looked at him. No. I've brought everything. She handed over a thick envelope. Inside were signed documents, bank transfers, and secret messages. The final pieces of the puzzle. Police officers entered the auditorium. The lead detective looked at the chairman. You are under investigation for fraud, evidence tampering, bribery, and conspiracy. The chairman tried to run. He didn't get far. Handcuffs clicked around his wrists. For the first time, the most powerful man in the school looked completely helpless. As he was led away, he turned to me. This isn't over. I met his eyes calmly. No. It ended the moment the truth came out. The audience stood and applauded. My name, once associated with disgrace, was now spoken with respect. The nightmare that had followed me from my first life was finally coming to an end. 3 months later, spring covered the campus with blooming cherry blossoms. The school felt different. For the first time in years, there were no whispers behind my back. No suspicious looks. Only smiles. The Board of Education announced its final decision. Chairman Kong was permanently removed from his position. Several officials involved in the conspiracy were convicted. The stolen scholarship money was recovered and returned to deserving students. The school publicly apologized to every victim. My name was officially cleared. The words academic misconduct were erased from my permanent record. A week later, the results of the National Scholarship Examination were announced. The entire school gathered in front of the notice board. Students held their breath. Then someone shouted, "First place. It's her." Applause broke out across the courtyard. For the first time, the scholarship that had once been stolen from me was finally mine. Hayisung Smileb. I knew you'd make it. I laughed. This time, I earned it. Lin Xia slowly walked toward me. She looked healthier than before, but guilt remained in her eyes. I'm sorry. I can't erase what I did. I looked at her quietly. No. You can't. But you can choose who you become from today. Tears filled her eyes. Thank you. For giving me a chance to change. She walked away to begin rebuilding her own life. That evening, I visited the school rooftop. The same rooftop where my first life had ended. The sunset painted the sky in shades of orange and gold. I closed my eyes. Not with regret. But with gratitude. My phone vibrated. Congratulations. You have been accepted to the National University with a full scholarship. I smiled. In my first life, I had lost everything. In this life, I had found something even more valuable. Not revenge. Not victory. But the courage to stand for the truth. Han walked onto the rooftop. So, Ready for university? I looked toward the horizon. Ready for my new life. Together, we walked down the stairs. This time, toward the future. The end.